Welcome to Spotlight, Conversations from the Sioux Falls School District. Join us as we share voices from across our school community and take a closer look at the experiences, ideas, and people that make Sioux Falls Public Schools a place where students love to learn and grow.
Well, welcome everyone to another episode of the Spotlight podcast. I'm Carly Evie, Communications Strategist for the Sioux Falls School District, and today I have the privilege of sitting down with not just one, but two of our assistant superintendents. Dr. Kirk Zeeck is our Assistant Superintendent of Academic Achievement, and our brand new Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services is Dan Conrad. Welcome to both of you.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today. Let's just start by learning a little more about your careers in education. Dr. Zeeck, I believe you are in your third year in this role, is that correct?
You're almost correct.
Almost
the second
correct?
year.
Second year. Okay, well then I'm getting that mixed up with Mr. Conrad. You're in your third month.
That is correct. Month number 3, but year number 28.
Year 28. Well, let's start. Let's talk about your careers and how you got to where you are. Dr. Zeeck, let's start with you. Tell us about how you got to where you are today.
Well, I've done all of my education career in the Sioux Falls School District. I started at Jefferson Elementary in the 1900s.
1900s. That's...
in the late
yes.
1900s.
Okay.
And then I spent 2 years there as a fourth grade teacher. From there, I transitioned to Hawthorne Elementary, where I spent 4 great years in admin and in fourth grade. And then I went to John Harris and Discovery Elementary as the assistant principal. From there, I went to Lower B. Anderson as the principal. And then finally, as Annie Sullivan's principal, I spent 8 great years there as well. And then transitioned to federal programs at the Instructional Planning Center, and then on to assistant superintendent.
There's got to be a bit of a difference between working in the elementary setting and then coming to a place like the Instructional Planning Center. I feel like there's got to be a little bit of a difference there. Do you miss anything about the elementary setting?
Well, I don't get nearly as many hugs these days as I used to.
Shoot. Okay, we'll make note of that. We'll work on that. So wonderful. Well, thanks for being here. Dan, let's go to you. The last time we had you here, you were on the podcast a couple years ago, and that's when you were talking about opening Jefferson High School. So crazy that we're here.
It's hard to believe it's been 5 years since we've done that.
Yes.
So my history is proud to say Sioux Falls native. So pathway through Laura Wilder Elementary as a kid, Edison Middle School, went downtown Washington High School, the Pavilion as it currently sits. And then I was faced with that great choice. Do I stay or do I go? Mm-hmm. Ended up at Roosevelt High School for my senior year and first class to graduate in 92 from Roosevelt. Thought I'd really broaden my horizons, went to the great University of Augustana to get my undergrad.
Go Augie.
And teaching wasn't always the pathway. Thought I could be an engineer physicist and circled back around to teach math and science. And taught at Lincoln for 11 years. Taught AP Physics and accelerated pre-calc with some business math and stats. Coached some basketball, football, baseball. After 11 years at Lincoln, ended up 11 years at Washington, 7 as an assistant principal and 4 as the head. And then Jefferson endeavor came on and got the great privilege of opening up Jefferson High School, meeting a lot of new people, and spent 5 years at Jefferson. Here I thought my pattern was 11, 11, and 11, but 5. And now I find myself in this new role. Yeah. So, but it's been a really good journey throughout that time.
Fun fact, you were a teacher at Lincoln when I was in high school. We never crossed paths because I was not a math student. So I just love to come full circle. So. And
I think I knew that, and I feel like more and more of that's happening these days.
I know.
As you come back through.
Yes. Well, let's kind of talk about what your day-to-day role is. Dan, you're, like we said, 3 months in. What's a typical day like for you?
Well, typical is an interesting word, still trying to figure out what that is. But for the most part, working to support the buildings, building administration at the elementaries, the middle school, high school, working through enrollments, working through counseling and student support services with social workers and the Office of Indian Education. So each day is a new day and a little different as to what that capacity might look like. For instance, today, got to start my day off at Terry Redland. We did the walking bus route. And we brought in a group of kids to Terry Redland to start their day, and just working with our attendance liaisons, making sure kids get to school and how we might be able to support them.
Yeah, the attendance liaisons are somewhat new within the last couple of years, and they've just made a world of difference.
Yeah, and it starts with relationships. When we're able to build personal relationships and have some ownership with the individual in front of me, good things happen.
Yeah. Dr. Zeeck, what's in year 2, what's a typical day look like for you?
Oh, my days are filled with mystery and intrigue.
And no hugs.
However, let's tell a story about this morning. I started my day off at John F. Kennedy Elementary, and I was observing the Junior Kindergarten Academy. And I did receive 2 hugs this morning from little junior kindergartners. And so that makes me feel real special that I'm able to help and get out and see the teachers doing what they do best, and the enrichment specialist, and really helping systems to grow and meeting with lots of great staff. We have a number of great professionals in this district. It's just such an honor to be here to work with them, alongside with them, and help guide them and see not only students grow, but also teachers and buildings as a system.
Absolutely. That kind of is a little bit into our next question, but Danny brought up relationships. I think that's really important when you're talking about a school setting. But I think the other thing that we really have talked about so far this year is the why behind what you do. So let me ask you, what is both of your whys? If one of you feels really strong about it, I'll let you go first.
I would say we're probably both strong with our whys, and our whys probably both start with people, not to speak for Dr. Zeeck. But it is about people, right? That's the great journey of education. You get to meet a lot of individuals. And while we go through that process of educating, they become part of our community of Sioux Falls. And having been in Sioux Falls for 50 years, that's the beauty of education in Sioux Falls. And the cycle of kids coming back, and then their kids coming back, and everybody buying into that piece of what makes Sioux Falls great and how we connect with each other. So my why... you go through your first 10 or 11 years trying to figure out your why, then you find a place, and my why started at Washington High School with the Circle of Courage. And when you find 4 things that resonate, when it starts with find a place to belong, find a place to be who you want to be, that's the independence piece, and then become really good at something through mastery. And then when you do those 3 things, how do we give back? And that's the generosity component. And so when you hear about starting Jefferson High School while Washington Circle of Courage is belonging, independence, mastery, and generosity, Jefferson's probably not far away from that with serve, lead, include, and compete. Those things kind of ring a bell. But that's the why, is how do we give back to the community of Sioux Falls? How do we help empower others to be their best? And when you do that, it doesn't start with the title on the door of principal or teacher or assistant superintendent. It starts with the first name, and it starts with getting to know each other. And when we buy into people and buy into each other, you can do a lot of amazing things, and that's the why. How do we buy into each other to make what we have around us better than what it is today?
I love that.
Well, I don't suppose on a podcast I can say ditto, but I hear a lot of the things that Mr. Conrad had said. But I would say also, just to extrapolate on that, the impact on students is the why I'm here, and helping to open up their doors, just like teachers helped to open up doors for me when I was a youngster. Giving grace, but also holding accountable. And then also in these roles, as we work with adults, to help the adults grow, because when the adults grow in a positive way, the students will grow in a positive way as well. And we can continue to open up those doors for the students, the staff, and in the schools as a system as well. And just, we have to make that positive impact to continue to grow.
Absolutely. I think it's so important to remember those whys. I think when you think about education and public education, there are some hard days. It's not always just, happy kids running around on the playground. There's some backstories and home stories and things like that. So I think it's really important that you both have those really established reasons why that you can look to on hard days. So Dan, you mentioned, how as we get older, the stories of kids coming, there's been a lot of changes with education over time. So what have you both seen over the course of your careers? Kirk, you've been working with AI, and what do you see the future of education? What does that look like to you?
Well, I'm glad you brought up artificial intelligence, AI, because that in the last couple of years has really exploded. But if I looked at changes, I would say also from way back in the 1900s when I started, you looked at, mainly it was about a routinized teaching strategy where you were opening up to page 8 and let's do these numbers. It was really teacher-centered.
Yeah.
And now it's moved more towards student-centered, where we're helping students to inform their own learning, to take ownership of their own learning. And when they do that, they're able to see their data. We have, in the elementary that I can speak to, we have data binders for students. They're tracking their data. Where am I? Where do I need to go? And what are the steps I need to take to get there and to meet my goal? And when you look to AI and you look to the data that we used, it used to be back in the day when I was a 4th grade teacher, I'd give an assessment and I'd take those 10 questions and I'd tape all this graph paper together. And then I would make my own bar graph. And now we can do that with the systems that we have in a short period of time. AI hopefully will help us to analyze that data even more and deeper and give us the tools and strategies to customize that learning for kids as they continue to take ownership over their own learning.
Yeah. And do you see that as a positive thing? Do you see AI, artificial intelligence, as a positive?
Yes, because when teachers use AI, then they're able to cut down on those routinized tasks that a computer can do, and they can focus on the students and their learning and their relationships.
Absolutely. And how do you see that, like with students? What's that fine? How do we find that fine line, or is that what we're still navigating for student use of AI?
Well, we have an AI working group that has put together a guidance document, and on our website there's a page that has the guidance document. And we're really trying to avoid the act of, well, AI is just about cheating and writing a paper for me, but how do we teach kids to be AI literate?
Yes.
To use that AI as a tool to grow and to be a thought partner, rather than just somewhere where I can get the answer and write it down.
Yeah. It feels, I imagine that this is what the period that we're in is the period that when the internet first came around, that was kind of the feeling of like, how do we foster this relationship, and like how do we teach people to use it for good? And
certainly either students or teachers or the community or parents are maybe a little reluctant on AI.
Sure.
As it's perceived that way, but and it could definitely be used for harm or used by students to slip by. Yeah. But we really need to be on the forefront of that and develop AI literacy.
Absolutely. Dan, what's changed for you?
Oh, besides the color of my hair, two things come to mind: things that haven't changed, and things that have just changed more quickly. Yeah. And so when I think back through the history of teaching, just during my time, the 28 years that I've been around, is teaching students critical thinking skills, teaching students problem solving, how to take that real world information, and how do we process it. And then make our decisions. We that is still very important. Our speed of access to information is probably what's changed. Sure. How quick we get there, right? The speed of the internet has changed, and then cell phones and smartphones, and we lived through the evolution of cell phones in schools, and now we're at the next stage of that. Like, we have access to information so readily. Yeah. Like, how do we help develop the skill set of what information do I need today, right? So the thing I think hasn't changed is just our kids. I think kids are still kids, right? We always say, gosh, this generation has it tougher than the generation before it. Mm-hmm. The issues may be slightly different, but the resolve of the students hasn't changed. Yes. Kids are still working hard to find solutions to today's problems and tomorrow's situations that arise. That is still where we're guiding kids to. So I think just the overall spirit of the kids that are before us each and every day and how they arrive, that probably doesn't look too much different. Yeah. What they have access to looks a lot different, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think over the summer, the community relations team met, and we were talking about our mission statement. We've had the same mission statement for a very long time, to educate and prepare students in a changing world. And, we're like, we can't change this because that's still our mission. Yeah. It's several years, it's been there forever. But that's still what we're doing, and things have changed and tools have changed, but at the end of the day we're still doing the same thing. So
right, like we still communicate, and to communicate effectively still still captures 3 or 4 essential concepts
Yes.
to do it well, right? Now, the medium in which we use to communicate may look a little different. Now I store my files on Google Drive
Right.
or OneNote or something like that versus having an assignment notebook that I carry around
Right.
forever and a day, right?
Yes.
I may encounter problems a little different, but I still need to use that same reasoning skill, same
Yes.
critical thinking, and develop that to say, how do I find solutions to future problems?
Absolutely.
So sometimes I think the more it changes, the more it's similar. But the nice thing is the just that human element, the human quality.
Yes.
And that's part of the reason why we're seeing our cell phone policies change too, to say that communication skill is super important and we want to have that social space.
Yeah.
And so let's put the device away. Let's look each other in the eyes and have a conversation. We walk down the hallway.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for the technology that makes life a little easier and faster, but we still got to be human.
Yeah.
And to add to that, you look to AI and people will say, well, AI is just going to take away all of our soft jobs that you have where you have human interaction. And I would say that AI isn't going to replace a teacher. It's going to redefine what the teacher's role is in working with the
Yes.
kids. And it's going to allow them to be able to sink deeply into what is it that this student needs from me a little bit more by
Yeah.
taking away the routinized tasks.
Absolutely. Really make that more effective use of time and resources for the teacher. No, I agree. So I'm a product of the Sioux Falls School District, and I'm really proud to be a product of the Sioux Falls School District. So with that, thinking of, yes, what makes strong schools, both for students and staff? How does a school culture become something that students and staff feel involved and included in? Dan, you opened Jefferson High School and served as principal for 5 years. How do you guys think we build strong school cultures from the bottom up?
Well, I think it starts with great teams that you have in the school. It's the leaders in the school, it's the teachers and teachers as leaders, and developing a solid core foundation of what are we going to do here? What are we going to do with that why in mind? How are we going to make a difference for our kids? That's going to be academically. What are we offering them? How are we helping them to be their own educators and to monitor their own learning? Socially, giving them opportunities to have a little fun, play around with some concepts, allowing them to identify, here's what I want to learn as a student, and helping them to grow that way. We have many pathways in the school district that if they wanted to be a farmer, if they wanted to be a doctor, if they wanted to be a bus driver, we have lots of opportunities for people to be able to be good community members
Absolutely.
in our great community in the city of Sioux Falls. But when you look to what makes that great school culture, I think it's the caring, understanding, responsible principals working with teachers to be able to devise ways to help kids grow and learn.
Absolutely. Mr. Conrad?
So my first year as principal, spent the whole year hiring
Yep.
and getting Jefferson ready. And so it wasn't probably until November when we started the hiring process, and you sit in interview after interview, and with each position you're interviewing 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
And the question that came to me is, what do you want Jefferson to be known for?
Mm.
And then the second question is what are you looking for? Well, at first you're kind of thinking you might have thought about it, but you really don't think deeply about it until you have to answer it time and time again.
Right.
I think that ties into culture specifically because we always have to bring it to the forefront. Like, remind ourselves, why are we here?
Yeah.
Well, we're here for the kids. All means all. Doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, what part of town you are. When you're inside these doors, everyone matters, and we're going to work hard to fulfill that.
Yeah.
We don't get to say, gosh, everybody but over there. How do we do that? So we always want to center it on all means all.
Yeah.
And then having opened up a place that has a lot of amenities, which Jefferson does, it's the people inside that we say matter most. And that's kind of where this came from when we talk about culture. Is it's with everybody, all means all, people matter most. And then there has to be that third element where what's made Sioux Falls great throughout the years is just this interest in competing and trying to be our best.
Yeah.
And when we talked about competing, that was a tough sell to some degree because people thought competition, winners, losers, oh boy, how are we going to do this? But when you think about what it means if I compete internally, there's 5 things that come to mind. The best competitors, if you look at your Michael Jordans, your LeBron James, is you pick the person who you look up to, they always look at themselves first and say, gosh, what could have I done differently?
Yeah.
And that's a key element of culture. Then they have to have that work ethic and initiative to act on what that reflection is.
Yeah.
And those are the three things, right? And then I have yet to meet somebody who walks into the arena, the stage, the gym, who doesn't believe the work they will do will make a difference.
Yeah.
They believe they're going to have positive impact, and that
Yeah.
matters when we have people around us. And the last piece is the success of your teammates.
Yeah.
I think they always wanted that team to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about culture, if we can bring it back to it's about everybody, the people inside matter most, no matter what your facility looks like.
Yeah.
And then how do I own my piece in this? How do I look at myself first, work ethic, initiative, and then how do I take my teammates with me to be this champion? And then you got to live it every day, every week, because the week gets difficult. There's stuff that happens, and you're going, "Wow, what's happening here?" But that's when you get to lean on the person beside you and take care of them. Everybody needs that support, and you don't have to do it yourself.
Yes.
So that when you do that and you live it, you breathe it every day, and you constantly talk about it, and not talk about it to put it in somebody's face, but talk about it to say what creates a healthy learning environment and what creates a healthy place at work where I get up every morning saying, I can't wait to get there.
Yeah.
Those are key pieces of how we take care of each other, how we take care of the kids, and then how do we take care of the place. And those things create great outcomes when they all come together and you stir the pot up.
Absolutely. And you said something that leads perfectly into the next question. Both of you actually used the word difference, and our theme this year is Be the Difference. So when you look at the Sioux Falls School District, what or who do you see that make a difference in kids' lives? I mean, how is our programming built to make a difference in our students' lives?
I would start with the Sioux Falls way of life. The community is built on the caring and generosity of many. And so the adults in the classrooms, the teachers, the education support professionals, the child nutrition workers, the custodians, everybody has this caring attitude about them that when they go out to help a situation, or when a student asks for help, or when a peer asks for help, they're not responding, not my job, not my problem.
Right.
They're trying to say, how do I help support you?
Yes.
And sometimes support is listening.
Yeah.
Sometimes support is trying to figure it out together.
Yes.
But there's just that caring, empathetic piece there where I don't know what the solution looks like, but we're going to walk through it together.
Yes.
And we're going to do really good work with whatever that looks like. But we do it together, and it doesn't matter the person's role, but we're going to do it together and figure it out. And I think that's the exciting piece of Sioux Falls for the 47 years that I've been a student or teacher here that I have seen.
Yes.
And I agree with Dan that it doesn't matter who you are as an employee with the Sioux Falls School District or one of the many mentors or volunteers that come in, that they know that it's people first. And it's those small, consistent moments that might change the trajectory of a student's day or life just in that one moment. And we've got to keep putting our best foot forward. And I think that it's not only just like the people, but it's mainly the people. That's the number one. But a lot of the programs that we have too help to be the difference.
Yeah.
Where I grew up in a small town in South Dakota, there were in the 80s, there were limited amount of things that you could be or do or have exposure to. And of course, in the Sioux Falls School District, we have so many more programs and opportunities and pathways for kids to be able to find what it is that they want to do.
Yeah.
And that starts with the people who look to say, what do the students need, and ask them and listen. What do you need? We're here for you.
Yeah.
We're going to create this to be yours. We have the new ag barn going out at CTE, and kids can take an opportunity to explore precision farming or work with animal sciences. And there's so many occupations. You just don't have to wear a straw hat and have a little piece of wheat coming out and sitting on the tractor.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do and help and provide for kids in this great city.
I can attest to what both of you just shared, both as a former Sioux Falls School District student. I believe that I'm in this room today talking to both of you because of the media class I took in high school. And then from a staff perspective, we were at Jefferson getting ready for the school year where we had the teacher meeting, and we had 5,000 t-shirts delivered. That was not Jefferson's problem. And everybody at Jefferson especially Patrick, was so willing to help. He was Dan, what is Patrick's role?
He is our custodial night supervisor.
And he was great. He was, so yes, I believe wholeheartedly in both of what you said. But let's talk about teamwork. You both served in various roles throughout the school setting and both now serve as assistant superintendents. How does the administration team work to support school staff and students? Kirk, I'll let you're a little further into the role, so I'll let you start.
Sure. Well, a consistent theme that I've tried to, a guiding light, a beacon that I've tried to live by as an administrator is that I've got to build roads and knock down barriers. So if I think about that and you're working for me or with me, it's where am I coming from? I want to make sure that what we do is research-based in the academic side and that we try to find ways to survey and investigate the data and dig in on what's working well, what's the research say, and we need to do more of what's going well, and we need to do less of what's not going well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a mantra that I've lived with, is that building roads and knocking down barriers.
Yeah, awesome.
And adding on to that, because everything we do, we want to make sure it's research-based. It's founded on something, while we also want to have that creative strand to say, hey, if there's a void or a need, let's see if we can figure out what we can fill in that piece. But we want to make sure it's attached to research best practices. But as far as teamwork piece, it's partnering with the schools, it's partnering with the community, not to stand tall and say this is what we should be doing, but partnering in a collaborative sense to say, how can we help support you? What systems or structures help you be the best that you can be with what you do?
Sure.
Right? So it's not as a hierarchical sense, while we still hold titles and things like that, but how do we generally work together because we all have the same goal in mind? How do we help every child, every student, every adult exceed the expectations that are held for him or her? So that goes with partnering and reaching out, not waiting for those to reach out to you, but how do you reach out to everyone and say, hey, how are things going? What can we help you with? Are there things that we can help remove? Kirk mentioned barriers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's one of the things we do is what barriers need to be removed, what structures can we put in place?
Yeah.
And I go right along with Dan, is that it's not just that Kirk and Dan are the leaders. I mean, we look at teachers as leaders in their classrooms and principals as leaders in their buildings, and you go up and we all see ourselves as architects of support. We're designing structures that lift up our incredible work.
I love that. Wow.
Off the top of my head.
We'll put a period on that and move to the next question. Perfect. So to end on things, what excites you guys about the future? Are there any trends that you're seeing that are leading to new and interesting places? We talked a little bit about AI, but what really, Dr. Zeeck, we'll start with you. What excites you about the future?
Well, we've spoken quite a bit about AI, and that's very exciting on where that's going to go, and not just in our industry of helping kids to develop themselves and teachers to develop themselves, but all across the whole nation and the world on where that's going. But if I look to our partnerships that we have in this great city, I think that we're developing and even enhancing those partners, and they trust us, and we trust them to help our kids go out to have internships and work out in the community, get that real life experience, so they can take what they're learning here in school and bring it out into the high school real world.
Yeah.
And I think that the more that grows and develops, when we look at our after school programs and our partnerships there with the new Boys and Girls Club hooked onto George McGovern Middle School, and the industry partners that are coming in to help them with activities after school, what a great opportunity to help grow. And we want to continue that growth into the other middle schools and advance into high schools to give them those activities.
Yeah.
For me, it's, again, like Kirk had said, it's the partnerships and providing the students of Sioux Falls with opportunities that we haven't seen before. Partnering with the community of Sioux Falls to make sure that kids fulfill whatever dream or desire they have, so that they stick around. And we've been blessed to have a lot of great opportunities in the city of Sioux Falls, whether it's our parks, our event centers, our overall community structure, where each neighborhood community leans into each other and believes in each other, and you have those close partnerships. Well, that doesn't happen by accident. I think that's a big piece of what the public school system does, because it is the ultimate melting pot, where we just we get to live and breathe with those around us,
Yeah.
and see what that looks like. Exciting me, our partnerships with dual credit and our partnerships with Southeast Technical College, where kids are starting to take some dual credit at the high schools and start to work on their associate's degree, if it's a 2-year degree, or maybe it's a certificate or something like. And that's what you're seeing is this acceleration of learning, because kids have access to information so much younger that they're able to get more and more before they ever leave high school.
Right.
And what a great opportunity to partner with our own entities that live inside the Sioux Falls community.
Yes.
And now kids, when they leave, are just getting off to such a head start.
Yeah.
And there's still that pathway of exploration. You don't have to know exactly what it is you want to do when you leave high school. But if we could broaden that horizon and say, you can do all these things.
Mm-hmm.
You have a choice. And the beauty is the choices you make in high school, make in school in general. You spend 13 years of your life in school. But wow, what an impact for the next 70 years of your life. Because we're going to live to be in our 80s and close to 90s, we hope. And what great things that we can accomplish in those next 60 to 70 years. And I think that's what excites me as we look to the future and seeing that change come forward.
And I concur. And I would say that based upon what you've said, that education doesn't stop at the classroom door.
Right.
We expand that beyond and head out into the universities or the technical colleges and into the workforce. It's an exciting time, and AI is only going to make that speed up and go a lot faster.
Yeah, I think we're just such a unique place to be. You know, our schools, our community, we're all working together to really create the best future possible for Sioux Falls and for our kids. So thank you both so much for
Thank
taking
you.
time out of your busy days to be here with me. Can't wait to sit down and talk in like 3 years and see how much of this has come true and what's changed. So
Sounds good. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, for sure.
thank
Thanks,
you both.
Carly.
Yeah, thanks.